Hey Merfolk fans, I'm Joe. Thanks very much for joining me. I'm here with a replay of round 3 of a Modern Friendly League. I'm currently sitting at 2-0 after defeating Esper Death Shadow 2-0 and Mono Green Tron 2-0. So here, I won the die roll, so I'm going to be on the play. Let's have a look at the opening hand. What do you guys think about this hand? I've got a couple creatures, got a little bit of interaction. Mutavault is fantastic in a lot of matchups. Dodges any sorcery speed removal. Cavern of Souls good in the odd matchup in Modern where they try to, counter our creatures. It's got a couple of powerful lands, especially Mutavault. Some interaction. This is a keep for me. It's obviously a little bit underpowered as far as explosive Merfolk hands can go, but it's definitely, for me, a keep. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this opening hand. Opponent decided to keep 7 also, so hopefully it's going to be a good game. Having access to a couple of non-basic blue sources, I'm going to play the Wanderwine Hub here, especially since I'm just playing Cursecatcher on turn 1. This is important in the event that I'm playing against the mirror match here. We can keep the opponent off of Island Walk. But we see a Black Cleave Cliffs, which could mean a couple of things. Goryo's Vengeance, I guess Jund. So we see a Fatal Push. Probably not Goryo's Vengeance. Whenever an opponent does this on turn 1, I sacrifice the Cursecatcher just to be a jerk. It accomplishes the same thing, it just wastes a little bit of time. Sometimes confuses people. I like confusing people. So Kira is great if this is in fact Jund. They really only have Abrupt Decay that can deal cleanly with her. So I'm just going to push out the Master of the Pearl Trident here, even though I've got Kira to potentially protect that guy. I feel like we're the aggressor here, especially being on the play. Force the opponent onto the back foot. So here's an Inquisition, which kind of stinks because he's going to take away Kira, which I just finished saying is kind of a bomb in this matchup. It did, in fact, take Kira, leaving me with just a Vapor Snag and a couple of lands. No follow-up play, and I draw another land. This is starting to look pretty stinky. Swing with 2 for the with the Master, and follow up with just a Mutavault. Potentially push some more damage next turn if we don't draw anything else. So there's that green mana. We are in fact playing against Jund. Opponent goes down to 17 and gets an Overgrown Tomb. Tapped. Huh. So no play on turn 3. Silvergill's a little bit weird because we don't have a Merfolk to reveal. So all we can do here is play out a land, activate Mutavault, and swing. Trying to take the opponent down from 17 to 12. Let's see if he has a Lightning Bolt. Terminate. Looks like he does not, or at least he's choosing not to use it. Play out the Cavern of Souls, name Merfolk, pass back to the opponent. Oh, they've got a tapped Raging Ravine. This is some slow stuff from Jund. So far we've seen a Fatal Push on a Cursecatcher and an Inquisition of Kozilek. Huh. Alright, well here's a Kolaghan's command. Target player discards a card. We've got an island to throw away for that. And he's trying to deal 2 damage to this Master of the Pearl Trident. I feel like this Vapor Snag is excellent in this situation. We can bring this guy back to our hand. It'll actually give me a Merfolk to reveal and cast Silvergill Adept. Maintain some sort of card parity with Jund. Trying to 2-for-1 me here. They did kind of 2-for-1 me because I had to pitch an island and I had to use the Vapor Snag. But it's really about card quality in the matchup, right? So I've got Silvergill Adept and I'll actually be able to cast it now. Drew another land. We'll get another chance at it. Reveal the Master of the Pearl Trident. Play Silvergill and, well, drew a Merrow Reejerey, so that's pretty nice. So I have a choice. I can play out another creature and choose to not attack, but the opponent's already at 12, and I feel like we should just be leaning at this point. I've already got a Silvergill Adept out. I'll force him to deal with that guy before committing any more guys to the battlefield. The opponent already uses Inquisition of Kozilek. It's possible he can use some hand disruption and get rid of one of these lords, but he's going to do that anyway, and we'll lose one anyway. So I'd rather just, at this point, not overcommit to the board in the event that he has Anger of the Gods in hand or something like that. So just chip in for 2 with the Mutavault. Opponent's tapped out, has nothing he can do about it. Alright, so opponent follows up with a tapped Overgrown Tomb. And then, what are we going to see here? Alright, so Collective Brutality. Unfortunately, I clicked through that a little bit quickly. It looks like he pitched 2 lands to escalate twice, doing all of the modes. He killed my Silvergill, he drained me for 2, and I had to reveal my hand, but I didn't have any instants or sorceries. So, opponent's left with 1 card, and I've got 2 lords. So, feeling better and better about my situation here. Echoing Truth, a little bit of interaction. Lets me deal with any threats that they eventually play. So I could play both of my creatures out here, but again, not overcommitting. Just play Merrow Reejerey, attack Mutavault, activate Mutavault, swing for 3, take the opponent back down to 9. Keep pressuring their life total. Stay on the front foot. So, okay, opponent's going to Thought Seize me here. Odds are they're going to take away the Master of the Pearl Trident, but they're going to continue hitting their own life total. Down to 7. Now, Bloodstained Mire represents that they can activate Raging Ravine as a blocker, which would eat either of my 2 guys. Echoing Truth, which the opponent just saw, doesn't interact with manlands. So we might just have to sit back next turn. So the opponent cracks the Bloodstained Mire right now, getting a tapped Blood Crypt. Now that just seems like a straight up misplay, because as I mentioned, they were representing a Raging Ravine activation to stop my attack. They're on 0 cards, and I just know that they have absolutely nothing right now. So draw another Mutavault, just activate the first one, swing for 5. Opponent's going to go down to 1, again with nothing he can do about it. Play the second Mutavault, and we've got Echoing Truth in case he happens to draw a creature or something. Now, at this point, we can just attack past Raging Ravine and still push the last points of damage. Yep, so nothing he can do at that point. Very easy game 1 against Jund. Let's go ahead and see how the second game went. The opponent's going to be on play this time. Let's have a look at the opening hand. What do you guys think about this one? Obviously, I've sideboarded in some Tidebinder Mages, some Relic of Progenitus, and took out the AEther Vials. So is this a keep, or do we mulligan? Well, for me, being on the draw, it's a keep. And I don't have to think about it that hard. Relic gets to do a lot of work unless they deal with it like super early. As the game goes on, I can cycle it and draw another card. Spreading Seas is super fantastic in this matchup. Tidebinder Mage is an all-star. And then, of course, we just have the perennial sort of strong options of Island Walk Lords and Master of Waves. It's going to take a little while to get up there. We're not going to have the benefit of AEther Vials. But as we just saw, Jund plays a really slow game. He didn't play any creatures that game. So opponent kept, and I kept. Starts with the Catacombs into Swamp. Okay, so Thought Seize. What do you guys think the opponent's going to take here? Master of Waves is the most powerful card by itself, but Relic is the only card that I can actually play right now. These guys become options as soon as I draw a second blue source. It's pretty hard to say what the best decision is here. I think an experienced Jund player would probably take away the Spreading Seas. It's always a battle for card advantage in this matchup, and Spreading Seas helps me mess up their mana while also drawing cards. So what are they going to go with here? Master of Waves. A little bit awkward here because I'm 3 lands away from that. Potentially he's got more hand disruption to follow up, or just removal to deal with these creatures. So I whiffed on drawing a second land. Harbinger could be great later in the game. Now, playing out Relic against Jund, it's always an option to target ourselves or their own graveyard to get rid of creatures that Scavenging Ooze could potentially eat. But if he plays a green source and plays a Scavenging Ooze next turn, he won't be able to eat anything on this turn cycle. So I'm just going to target the opponent right now with the Relic, make him get rid of something. He got rid of the sorcery, which is a little bit odd. Seems like it'd be easier to replace the land than the sorcery for Tarmogoyf. So there's a tapped Raging Ravine, very slow. And no hand disruption to follow up. So I did draw on my second blue source right on time. You can see how being on the draw helps. We get 2 opportunities to draw into the land that we need. So again, let's think for a second about what the play is going to be. Obviously, we're going to use Relic here to get rid of one of these cards. I think I'll probably get rid of the Master Waves at this point, just because it's food that a Scavenging Ooze can eat. So go ahead and activate that. And then play out the Wanderwine Hub and reveal one of the cards that the opponent already knows about. And I'm going to go ahead and play Spreading Seas on this Raging Ravine, taking him off of 2 colors and drawing another card. Now, actually, one really important consideration in determining to play Spreading Seas is we kept a greedy hand, and we're really trying to hit lands. And when that's the case, it just makes it that much better to cast the card drawing spell. It is going to help us draw through more cards faster and hopefully hit those land drops. So Spreading Seas resolved, and I whiffed on a land, but again, it's going to give me another draw next turn to hopefully hit my curve. So the opponent plays in Cracks of Verdant Catacombs. We can see their life total already at 16. Super duper slow. They've got no green mana right now, and no plays apparently. So I like to start by activating the Relic, just so I don't forget it. Get rid of one of their Verdant Catacombs. And for my turn, I think I'm just going to push out one of the Island Walk Lords. These guys have so much utility later in the game, the Tidebinders and the Harbingers, that if the opponent wants to use removal right now on a Master of the Pearl Trident, so be it. There's the Fatal Push. Another Verdant Catacombs, continuing to hit their own life total for a basic forest. Now, an option last turn was to play a Cursecatcher and leave mana up to cycle the Relic of Progenitus. I don't feel too bad about having jammed the creature, because this is an Abrupt Decay that could have been used on a Spreading Seas, taking us off of that Devotion and opening up his manland, giving him access to more green and red mana. Abrupt Decay could have killed that Spreading Seas. It could have destroyed one of our creatures, but instead the opponent's choosing to target our 1 mana artifact. So, reason to feel decent about that exchange. Okay, we hit a 3rd blue source, which is sensational because you can see we only have blue in our casting costs. At this point, now we can play the Cursecatcher and another creature. I think it's just going to be the other Island Walk Lord, because as I mentioned, the other guys have utility that we want to take advantage of in this matchup. Okay, opponent plays their 5th land, and we're both on 3 spells at this point, with me having 2 creatures already out on the board. So here's a Scavenging Ooze. He's only got 1 creature that he can eat. I'm going to crack this Bloodstained Mire right now, going all the way down to 12 for green mana, which is required, I guess, to eat this creature. Take him back up to 13 life, and pump the Scavenging Ooze up to a 3/3. Now the opponent knows that I have a Tidebinder and a Harbinger from their earlier hand disruption. This is great also. We're going to want to just keep attacking, and it's going to keep any threats off the board. Tidebinder comes in for situations exactly like these. Even if the opponent has a Bolt in hand, the Scavenging Ooze is going to get tapped this turn, and we'll be able to attack for at least something. So go ahead, turn our guy sideways. If the opponent has a Bolt, it would be a good time to use it, but it looks like he does not, so he goes down to 9, and I just pass the turn. Tapped Blackcleave Cliffs. Opponent down to 2 cards, one of them a Lightning Bolt. Kills my Master of the Pearl Trident. Not sure if that's a correct call, since he really wants to deal with this Tidebinder Mage here. 1 card left in hand, 2 green up to eat this Master of the Pearl Trident, should he choose to do so. We drew Mutavault. Pretty good because we can play a 2-drop if we want to, and leave up mana for Echoing Truth. We can't attack Mutavault since we just played him. We'll go straight to combat, see what the opponent wants to do here. He ate my creature when I moved to go to combat. Trying to swing for 3, and yeah, we got through. So opponent is down to 7. And I think we just passed the turn. With 4 mana, it's perfect because we can play Harbinger at instant speed if we want to. Opponent's drawing a lot of lands, so I'm not super proud about the way that the game is going, but that's the way it lines up sometimes. Jund plays a fair amount of lands. Merfolk doesn't play quite as many. Okay, tapping green mana is going to, well, no, red and black to terminate my Tidebinder Mage. Okay, it looks like that's it. The opponent's down to 0 cards, and on the end step, let's see. Well, before the end step, he's going to eat that Tidebinder Mage. It's all good. The Scavenging Ooze is now a 5/5, but it's going to get bounced with the Harbinger of the Tides at instant speed. We're going to have 5 power on the board, and if we top deck a Lord, we actually have lethal next turn. So we top decked the Lord, but not an Island Walk Lord. We don't have enough mana to play this guy and activate Mutavault. So just going to swing for 5. It's a 2-turn clock. Activate Mutavault, turn everybody sideways. Opponent has the Scavenging Ooze in hand, so we don't have to worry about any kind of removal spells. And I get to pass with Echoing Truth up to bounce the Scavenging Ooze. So there's Scavenging Ooze. There's currently no food in the graveyard. Maybe he's going to kill one of my dudes. No, it's just another Scavenging Ooze, which is pretty nice because I play Echoing Truth. So we wait for the end step so he doesn't get to replay any of these guys with the mana up and crush his hopes and dreams. So that's it. Activate Mutavault, swing for 5, and the opponent scooped it up. So pretty easy match against Jund. In general, I feel like we're slightly favored, but it's a very even matchup like a lot of Merfolk's matchups. Let me know your guys' thoughts. As always, please subscribe if you haven't already, and tune in for the next video, which will show round 4 of this Modern Friendly League. So far, I'm 6-0 on games. I don't think since joining Magic Online I've ever gone 10-0 in games, so I've got a chance here. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks a lot.